Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC. We've got massive Liverpool news you don't want to miss. Alexis Mac Allister in tears as his transfer exit is confirmed, Wonderkid Rio Ngumaha follows the academy path, and Liverpool reach a verbal agreement with Alexander Isak for a huge £120 million move. Plus, our young stars shine in the Yokohama friendly. Japan. If you bleed red, don't forget to like the video. Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe to Reds Fusion LFC and hit the bell so you never miss a transfer update. Let's dive in, Reds. Alexis Mac Allister's tearful reaction as Liverpool transfer exit confirmed. Luis Diaz has completed his move to Bayern Munich after Liverpool reluctantly agreed to sell the Colombian, who issued an emotional farewell message to the Reds on Wednesday. Liverpool's Alexis Mac Allister and skipper Virgil van Dijk have shared heartfelt responses to Luis Diaz's departure. The Colombian winger sealed his switch to Bayern Munich, penning a 3.5-year contract after Liverpool accepted an offer from the German team, believed to be around $88 million. Diaz bids farewell to the Reds following a 3.5-year spell since joining from FC Porto. His exit comes after negotiations for a new contract fell through, prompting the 28-year-old to seek a move away from Anfield, despite clinching the Premier League title in May. Earlier interest from Barcelona and Bayern was turned down until Vincent Kompany's team tabled an offer that compelled Liverpool to part ways with the player. Diaz joins the ranks of notable players leaving the club, following Trent Alexander-Arnold and goalkeeper Kevin Kelleher out the door, while rumors about Darwin Núñez's future persist, especially with the buzz around Alexander Isak. The announcement on social media saw a wave of good wishes from fans and teammates alike. Many of Diaz's former colleagues hit like on his post, with comments coming in from Van Dijk and Dominic Szoboszlai, among others. Mac Allister expressed his emotions candidly. His response read, "I dropped another tear." Diaz's own message reflected on his time at the club, 3 years and a half that I'll treasure forever. I arrived with all the dreams in the world, and I am leaving proud of everything we achieved together. I have met incredible people, fabulous colleagues, coaches who helped me a lot, and extraordinary fans. Liverpool is, indeed, a special team, and I will keep everyone in my heart. The cycle ends here, and it is so gratifying to look back and realize how happy we were. Not only because of the trophies we won, but for the union and friendship that made it all possible. There were ups and downs, as there always are, but there was always truth. As it should be in a family. It's good to be leaving with the feeling of a duty fulfilled, and, most of all, to be leaving a champion. It would have been the perfect goodbye if we hadn't lost one of ours in such a tragic way. As I said, and I repeat, I carry everyone with me in my heart, but one of them in particular, Diogo. I will never forget him. We will never forget him. Thank you for everything. YNWA. Florian Wirtz and Liverpool Wonderkids star in Yokohama friendly win, 5 talking points. Yokohama 1-3 Liverpool. Florian Wirtz scored his first goal for the Premier League champions before a pair of teenagers came off the bench to steal the show in final friendly of pre-season tour. Florian Wirtz scored his first Liverpool goal before Trey Nyoni and Rio Ngumaha boosted their burgeoning reputations by finding the net as Arne Slot's side came from behind in the final game of their pre-season tour to Asia. But Arne Slot has much to ponder about a defensive line yet to truly flow as Asahi Wanaka put Yokohama in front early in the second half with the Japanese outfit fashioning plenty of chances. However, the Reds class eventually told as Wirtz leveled from Mo Salah's center before sub Nyoni, 18, produced a fine first-time finish to convert Jeremy Frimpong's beautifully weighted cross. Ngumaha, 16, then went on a mazy dribble and fired home from the edge of the area late on to seal a 3-1 victory. The goals came long after Hugo Ekitike's debut was brought to a close after 45 minutes, while Darwin Núñez and Alexis Mac Allister made their returns off the bench. Here are the talking points from Nissan Arena. Ekitike bow. The latest summer signing found clear sights of goal at a premium during his first 45 minutes in the red shirt, with a cheeky backheel his only threatening moment inside the penalty area. But there was no shortage of endeavour from the France U21 striker as he dropped deep, put in some notable work off the ball and linked up nicely with Florian Wirtz on a couple of occasions. Nunez misstep. The Uruguayan, who continues to be linked with a move away, was given his first minutes of pre-season as Ekatike's half-time replacement, only to contrive to miss a really good chance not long before Liverpool fell behind. It came from a great Sulla pass but, having done well to stay onside, Nunez side-footed carelessly wide when under no tight pressure. It summed up why he is now far down the pecking order and hardly convincing evidence into him being kept as an impact player. Pitch complaints. And Nunez could not even blame an awful surface that was cut up from the beginning with a match ball that appeared to have a mind of its own as it bounced and bobbled awkwardly. Simple passes were inadvertently misdirected, there were some horror first touches. And the only positive was that no one appeared to pick up an injury because of a field more akin to a recently ploughed farmer's plot than a professional football pitch. Defensive concerns. Despite those dodgy conditions, Slot will be mildly concerned by how slack Liverpool's marking appeared at times, especially on the counter-attack, having shipped 4 to a Milan team at the weekend that had appeared blunt against Arsenal. Liverpool forward forcing Arne Slot into unexpected decision after transfer confirmed. Ian Doyle looks at the main talking point as Liverpool complete their Far East tour with a 3-1 win over Yokohama F. Marinos in Japan. It has been a summer dominated by a club record spend that has already rocketed beyond £250 million with, Liverpool supporters hope, the promise of more still to come. But 2 players snapped up for minimal outlay in recent years are emerging among the real positives of pre-season. And few could argue the stellar performer of the warm-up program has been Rio Ngumaha. The teenager, who doesn't turn 17 until next month, has been the subject of intrigue ever since Liverpool brought him from Chelsea last year. The unhappiness from the Londoners at losing the player was an indication of the potential they felt had snatched from their grasp. Indeed, Ngumaha's development over the last 12 months has been rapid, lasting only a few months with the under-18s before permanent elevation to the U21 ranks after making his senior bow in January when starting the FA Cup third-round win over Accrington Stanley at Anfield. This summer, though, is when the winger has truly shot to prominence, handed starts in the first 3 friendlies during which he scored in the behind-closed-doors win over Stoke City. But it was in front of more than 67,000 in the Nissan Stadium in Japan where Ngumaha truly announced himself to the wider viewing public when introduced shortly after the hour. On a dreadful pitch where many players struggled to maintain possession, the youngster instantly impressed with his close control, pace and willingness to run at opponents, denied by one save after skipping past several defenders and playing a 1-2 with Trey Nyoni, the other teenager to shine. The highlight, however, came 3 minutes from time. Picking the ball up on the halfway line, Ngumaha powered forward, cut inside one defender and then, having advanced into the area, stroked the ball into the bottom corner. On the bench, the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah gave their clear approval. Of course, exciting new wingers are nothing new for Liverpool in recent years, with Kaide Gordon and Ben Doak both having appeared for the first team before their 18th birthday. But what already seems to set Ngumaha apart is his decision-making. Yes, there are obvious rough edges which are understandable at such a tender age. But the instinct to deliver the correct final ball is something difficult to teach. Physically he has developed significantly in the last 6 months, giving him the confidence to hold his own among much older professionals. And the same could be said for the other teenager to make the most of their pre-season exposure, midfielder Nyoni, whose encouraging showings continued with a well-taken finish for Liverpool's second goal as they came from behind to win 3-1. I came through Liverpool's academy. Rio Ngumaha is now taking the same opportunity. Rio Ngumaha once again impressed as he stole the headlines during Liverpool's friendly against Yokohama F. Marinos, with the teenager scoring his second goal of pre-season. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor has lauded Rio Ngumaha's latest performance after the teenager stole the show once again in pre-season. Given just around 30 minutes of the Reds' pre-season friendly against Yokohama F. Marinos on Wednesday, the 16-year-old wasted no time in making another big impression. Ngumaha scored Liverpool's third in a 3-1 win in Japan, and carried a constant threat from the left as he again underlined the potential that has seen his stock go through the roof over the past year or so, with supporters even suggesting he could already be the perfect replacement for Luis Diaz. The former Chelsea youngster has caught the eye throughout pre-season, having also scored in a behind-closed-doors friendly against Stoke earlier this month, but his display in Yokohama was perhaps his best of the summer so far. Meer knows all about what it takes to break into the Liverpool first team from the academy, having done so during his own playing career, and he's in no doubt Ngumaha has the tools to follow the same pathway. Analyzing Ngumaha and fellow academy star Trey Nyone's performances, with the midfielder also on the scoresheet in the Reds' latest outing, Meer told LFC TV, "The academy is in a really good place and it has been for a number of years. Now they are all on one site, it helps the younger lads like Nyone and Ngumaha to be noticed easier. There are more opportunities to train with first-team players, and if you impress, you can get an opportunity in pre-season tours. There haven't been many youngsters called up by Arne Slot, but these two have. They have been given a chance and they have taken it." Focusing on Ngumaha, Meer added, "At 16, you can be tempted to play the easier ball. But you need that quality and belief. Ngumaha picks the ball up on the halfway line and takes responsibility. He isn't fully developed in terms of physicality. Learning around some of the best players in world football will do him well. How many 16-year-olds are trusted at this level? Luis Diaz has moved on. There is one less option in his way, and I am a big believer in learning around the best, Sulla, Van Dijk. These are role models who will help young players if they do step out of line. Ngumaha will almost certainly get more opportunities before the start of the new season, with Liverpool set to return to Merseyside now ahead of a double-header against Athletic Bilbao on Monday, before heading to Wembley to take on Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. Giving his thoughts on Ngumaha's latest performance, Liverpool boss Slot said, "We have a lot of very good players, but to get some from the academy is helpful. It gives us energy." Liverpool reach verbal agreement with Alexander Isak over 6-year contract as £120 million mega move looms. Just shortly after covering the latest context for the Alexander Isak saga, reports began to break that Liverpool have agreed a contract with the Swede ahead of a potential historic move to Anfield. When Liverpool signed Hugo Ekitike, they also agreed a 6-year deal with the French forward, and it would seem as though Isak is being given a similar deal to the former Eintracht Frankfurt star. At the time, Florian Plettenberg reported that Ekitike will earn around £250,000 a week. Now, the same journalist reports that Liverpool are in agreement with Alexander Isak over a deal of similar length and remuneration to Ekitike, with the main takeaway being that Isak still wants to make the move to LFC. Reporting via X, Plettenberg reports, "Understand, Alexander Isak has already reached a verbal agreement in principle with Liverpool over a contract running until 2031. Isak wants to make the move to LFC as early as this transfer window. The clubs are in contact. His salary at Liverpool would be similar to that of Hugo Ekitike's. Newcastle are still pushing hard to sign Benjamin Sesko, but Manchester United are also in the race." 20 minutes later after Plettenberg's update, Fabrizio Romano reported that there are no changes yet. The Italian reports that the contract has never been an issue, and while a bid is ready, the situation will only change when Newcastle will it so. Liverpool are knock on the door, but will Newcastle open it? Liverpool have made it very clear that they want Isak, and the player has reportedly made it very clear to Newcastle that he wants to leave. Isak doesn't just want to join Liverpool, he wants to make the big next step in his career, and the Reds have positioned themselves to be the club that snaps him up after winning the Premier League last season. But it does now seem as though this saga is beyond Newcastle's power to emerge with a win. If they keep Isak, they lose the dressing room in some areas due to the player's desire to leave. The same thing happens if he leaves for different reasons.